Fiona Blackwell clutched her camera with white knuckles, trying to steady her breathing as the auctioneer's rapid-fire voice echoed through the livestock pavilion. She'd come to document the reality of meat auctions, not to intervene. Yet when the massive chestnut mare stumbled into the ring, ribs protruding beneath a dull coat, something broke inside her. Next up, Lot 47. Draft cross, 12 years. Outgrew her breeding ewes. Starts at 30 cents per pound. Fiona's hand shot up before she could think. 20 minutes, and most of her savings account later, she stood beside the mare in disbelief, unsure what to do next. The horse's gentle brown eyes held no sparkle, just a resigned emptiness that twisted Fiona's heart. First time, a gruff voice startled her. The man was tall, with sun-weathered skin, and a beard that couldn't hide the scar running along his jaw. His eyes, the startling blue, held unexpected kindness. That obvious? Fiona attempted a smile. You've got the what have I done look. He nodded toward the mare. She's in rough shape. You have somewhere to take her? Fiona swallowed. My apartment complex doesn't allow 1,000-pound roommates. The man's laugh was rusty, as if seldom used. I'm Dominic Vega. I run Wildwood Sanctuary about 40 minutes north. I might have space. The drive to the sanctuary followed tense silence, broken only by the labored breathing of the mare whom Fiona had impulsively named Rusty in the trailer behind them. Dominic's sanctuary emerged from dense pines like something from a storybook. Weathered barns, mismatched fencing, and fields dotted with grazing rescue animals. A 3-legged goat hobbled toward the fence as they approached. Welcome to the island of misfit toys, Dominic murmured. Parking beside a modest cabin, as Rusty cautiously exited the trailer, Dominic assessed her professionally. Neglected, not abused. Decent conformation under that poor condition. With proper care, she'll recover. I'll pay boarding fees, Fiona offered, watching Rusty explore her new surroundings. And I'd like to document her recovery. I'm a wildlife photographer. Dominic's expression closed. This isn't a petting zoo or your personal photo project. It's not. Fiona bristled. I want to tell her story. Put a face to what happens to these animals. Something shifted in Dominic's expression. Stories don't change reality. It changed mine, Fiona countered. Their eyes locked, challenge passing between them, as dusk painted the sanctuary gold. Dominic showed Fiona to Rusty's new stall. When the mare gently nuzzled Fiona's palm, Dominic whispered, Look at that. She already trusts you. She just knows I'm not a threat. Dominic's gaze lingered on Fiona's face. That's more than most offer. He cleared his throat. There's a spare room in the cabin if you want to stay tonight. Under a ceiling of stars, Fiona texted her editor, Story change. I've found something better. Sanctuary among thorns. Dawn broke over Wildwood. Sanctuary with fingers of gold light stretching across dew-soaked fields. Fiona woke, disoriented in the rustic cabin bedroom, momentarily forgetting yesterday's impulsive decision. The distant nickering of horses brought reality rushing back. Dominic was already working when she stepped outside. His movements economical as he distributed feed. Rusty stood apart from the other horses, head lowered defensively. She didn't eat much, Dominic noted, without looking up. Typical for new arrivals, especially after auction trauma. Fiona approached the fence. May I help? His hesitation was brief, but noticeable. There's an extra pair of muck boots by the barn door. They worked side by side as Dominic explained each animal's story. The blind goat rescued from a testing facility. Sheep saved from religious slaughter. A donkey with twisted legs abandoned after a circus closed. Each creature bore physical and emotional scars, yet found peace within these boundaries. You've created something remarkable, Fiona said, brushing Rusty's tangled mane as the mare flinched beneath her touch. Dominic's shoulder brushed against hers as he demonstrated proper technique. Hold the brush like this, firm but gentle. His calloused hand enclosed hers, adjusting her grip. The brief contact sent warmth cascading through her body. I was a combat medic, he explained later over mugs of black coffee. After my third tour, I couldn't face another human emergency room. Animals don't carry the same ... complications. You mean they don't judge? Fiona ventured. His smile was faint. They judge plenty, just more honestly than people. Days melded into a routine. Mornings with Rusty, who gradually accepted Fiona's presence. Afternoons photographing the sanctuary's inhabitants. Evenings sharing simple meals with Dominic, whose gruffness softened incrementally. One week in, Fiona found Dominic attempting to coax Rusty into accepting a blanket. His patience evident in every slow movement. She's terrified of the blanket, he explained. Probably had rough handling before. Let me try. Fiona took the blanket, sitting quietly beside Rusty in the straw. She began speaking softly, sharing childhood stories, mundane observations, nonsensical words, a continuous gentle stream, until Rusty's ears relaxed forward. Sometimes they just need to know your voice means safety, Fiona murmured, slowly raising the blanket to let Rusty sniff it. Something unreadable crossed Dominic's face. You're good with her. Later, reviewing the day's photographs, Fiona captured Dominic in unguarded moments, gentle hands treating a raccoon's infected paw, face relaxed in rare laughter with a volunteer, eyes softening when he thought no one watched him with Rusty. That night, beneath a blanket of stars on the cabin porch, their shoulders touched as they sat in companionable silence. I've been alone too long, Dominic whispered, almost to himself. You remind me what I've been missing, and his fingers tentatively sought hers. Fiona felt something fragile and wild unfurl between them, like Rusty's first hesitant steps toward trust. We're all just looking for sanctuary, she replied, curling her fingers around his. Dark clouds rolled across the horizon, turning midday ominous as Fiona helped Dominic secure the sanctuary for the approaching storm. Weather alerts had warned of potential flooding in the valley, sending volunteers home early and leaving just the two of them to prepare. We should move the vulnerable animals to higher ground, Dominic directed, voice tight with concern. The creek floods quickly during summer storms. Together they relocated nervous goats and sheep to the upper barn. Rusty, however, refused to leave her stall, eyes rolling in panic at the thunder that shook the air. She's too frightened, Fiona said, stroking the mare's neck. I'll stay with her. Dominic's jaw tightened. Not safe. The lower barn floods. Then I'll move her when she's calmer, Fiona insisted. Their eyes locked in silent challenge before Dominic reluctantly nodded. Radio, if you need me. I'll finish securing the rest. As rain began hammering the roof, Fiona sat beside Rusty in the straw, speaking in soothing tones. When lightning cracked overhead, the horse reared in terror, nearly crushing Fiona against the wall. She scrambled away, heart pounding. Easy, girl, she whispered, maintaining distance but not leaving. The radio crackled. Everything okay? Dominic's concerned voice broke through static. Managing, Fiona replied, watching water begin seeping under the barn door. 30 minutes later, Dominic appeared, soaked and grim-faced, creaks rising. We need to move her now. Together they worked to secure a lead rope on the terrified mare. The moment they stepped outside, however, Rusty panicked in the driving rain, breaking free and bolting toward the lower fields. Damn it. Dominic cursed, sprinting after her with Fiona close behind. They found her trapped against the rapidly rising creek, trembling in terror. Dominic approached slowly, speaking in low tones, until he could grasp her halter. The return journey was arduous, through deepening mud and rain. Inside the upper barn, they finally collapsed beside the no-secured Rusty. Clothes soaked and bodies exhausted, "You're bleeding," Fiona noticed, reaching toward a gash on Dominic's forearm. Nothing, he dismissed, but allowed her to clean and bandage it with the emergency kit. Her fingers lingered on his skin. Former combat medic, huh? Guess old habits die hard. Some things stay with you, he murmured, eyes meeting hers in the lantern light. Outside, a storm raged, but inside the barn, something electric hummed between them. When Dominic's hand cupped her cheek, Fiona leaned into his touch, her body responding to the tenderness in his gaze. Their first kiss tasted of rain and urgency. his lips unexpectedly soft against hers. Fiona pressed closer, fingers threading through his damp hair as his arms encircled her waist. "I didn't expect you," he whispered against her neck. "Didn't expect to want someone again." On a bed of clean straw, they created their own sanctuary. His hands mapped her body with reverent attention, discovering places that made her gasp and arch against him. When they finally moved together, it was with a synchronicity that belied their short acquaintance. Afterward, wrapped in horse blankets as the storm gradually subsided, Fiona traced the scars across his chest. Silently questioning, "I've got a stun," he explained simply. "The physical ones healed." She pressed her lips to each mark, a silent acknowledgement of pain carried. "And the others?" His smile held a vulnerability that tightened her chest. "They're healing. Slowly." In Rusty's stall, the mare watched them with calm eyes. Her fear forgotten in the aftermath of the storm, shadows from the past the sanctuary glowed golden in the aftermath. Of the storm, mud splattered but largely unscathed. Fiona captured the sunrise with her camera, documenting Rusty's remarkable transformation. The mare now approached the fence eagerly, coat beginning to shine with proper nutrition and care. "She likes having her picture taken," Dominic observed, sliding his arms around Fiona's waist from behind. These casual intimacies still surprised her. The easy way he now sought her touch. "She knows she's beautiful," Fiona replied. Leaning back against his chest, the sound of tires on gravel interrupted their moment. A black SUV with government plates wound up the driveway, sending a visible tension through Dominic's body. "Stay here," he instructed, striding toward the vehicle with rigid shoulders. From her position, Fiona could only observe the encounter at Dominic's defensive posture. The visitor's crisp suit and confident stance, the exchange of what appeared to be official documents. When Dominic returned, his face was shuttered, all morning warmth evaporated. "Lieutenant Colonel Hargrove, former commanding officer. What did he want?" Fiona asked, noting the papers clutched in Dominic's hand. "The sanctuary land? Apparently it's needed for a government wildlife conservation project." His laugh was bitter. Convenient timing. That evening, Dominic finally explained over whiskey in the cabin. "My unit was involved in classified operations. Hargrove made some decisions that got people killed, civilians. I testified against him in a closed military hearing." Fiona whispered. "He's waited years for revenge. He knows this place is all I have." Dominic's knuckles whitened around his glass. He's leveraging some obscure eminent domain clause. The documents revealed a 30-day eviction notice. The animals would be relocated appropriately. Bureaucratic language for what they both knew meant. "Potential slaughter for many? Can fight this," Fiona insisted, mind already cataloging media contacts. "There are things you don't understand about my past," Dominic warned, pulling away from her touch. "Things I've done, then help me understand." The story emerged haltingly, a mission gone wrong. Intelligence failures. Dominic's team caught in an impossible situation. The choices made that haunted him still. "I'm not the hero you think," he finished, eyes downcast. "I never needed you to be a hero," Fiona replied, taking his hands. "Just honest." Later, bodies entwined in his narrow bed, Fiona traced patterns across his bare chest. "We'll find a solution." His response was to pull her closer, their bodies finding familiar rhythm. This time, their lovemaking carried desperation, his hands gripping as if she might disappear. Her whispered reassurances against his skin. Afterward, watching him sleep, Fiona made a decision. Her camera contained powerful stories, not just Rusty's transformation, but dozens of before and after narratives from the sanctuary, outside under starlight. She found Rusty watching her through the fence, ears pricked forward in recognition. "We're not giving up without a fight," Fiona promised. Resting her forehead against the mare's soft muzzle, "Some things are worth fighting for." Morning light filtered through mismatched curtains as Fiona slipped from Dominic's bed, careful not to wake him. For 3 days, she'd been making calls, sending emails, and compiling photographs. Today was the meeting that would determine everything. "You don't have to do this," Dominic said from the doorway, startling her as she dressed. "Yes, I do." Fiona straightened her rarely worn blazer. "For Rusty, for all of them. For you." The community center buzzed with unexpected activity. What had begun as Fiona's media campaign had evolved into local movement. Farmers, neighbors, and former volunteers filled the seats. Alongside representatives from animal welfare organizations and 3 journalists Fiona had worked with previously, Lieutenant Colonel Hargrove's confidence visibly faltered at the gathered crowd. Beside him, 2 uncomfortable government officials shifted in their seats. "This was supposed to be a private property discussion," Hargrove muttered. "Transparency matters in government projects," Fiona countered. "Setting up her presentation, especially those affecting beloved community resources." The photographs told stories words couldn't. Rusty's transformation from broken auction horse to the gleaming, confident mare who now greeted visitors at the fence. The 3-legged goat playing with children from the local special needs program. The blind sheep who had become therapy animals for PTSD survivors. Wildwood isn't just a sanctuary for animals, Fiona concluded. It's healing for people too. Veterans like Dominic, children learning compassion, volunteers finding purpose. Community members spoke next, the feed store owner who donated supplies, the veterinarian who provided discounted care, farmers who'd integrated sanctuary practices into their operations. Dominic rose last, voice steady despite his evident discomfort with public speaking. "Lieutenant Colonel Hargrove and I have history," he acknowledged directly. "But this isn't about our past. This is about 57 animals who won't survive relocation. It's about a community resource that serves hundreds of people yearly." The local newspaper editor stood. "We filed Freedom of Information requests regarding this project. Preliminary responses suggest significant irregularities in the approval process." By meeting's end, the government officials were retreating, promising review and reassessment. Hargrove departed without a word, defeat evident in his rigid posture. Outside, Dominic pulled Fiona close. "I've spent years hiding from connection, convinced I didn't deserve it, and now," she prompted, heart racing. "Now I have something worth fighting for?" His hands framed her face. "Someone worth being brave for." Back at the sanctuary, they walked the perimeter at sunset, planning expansions now that the threat had passed. Rusty trotted alongside them, occasionally nudging Fiona's pocket for treats. "My editor loves the photo series," Fiona said. "They want to develop it into a book. Proceeds could fund the sanctuary expansion." Dominic stopped walking, turning to face her fully. "You're planning to stay?" "Wild hearts belong together," she answered simply, "under the spreading oak where they'd first shared coffee." Dominic knelt, offering not a ring but a simple key. "To the cabin, to the sanctuary, to whatever we build together." When their lips met, Rusty nickered softly nearby, as if in approval. Later, tangled in sheets as moonlight spilled across the bed, Fiona whispered against Dominic's skin. "Some souls recognize each other instantly." His arms tightened around her. "Some rescues go both ways." Outside, Rusty grazed peacefully in the moonlit field, head raised occasionally toward the cabin where 2 broken souls had found sanctuary in each other. Wild hearts, finally unbroken.